Hey guys, what's up and welcome back to my channel. So today I am doing a part 2 on my fitness journey as a petite woman. If you have not yet seen part 1 of my fitness journey as a petite woman, you can go back and watch it here. I'll put the link wherever on the screen and just kind of get caught up on the first, I guess, 18 to 20 years. It goes through everything and I'll pick up where we left off. I'll give a brief overview, but then I really want to jump into what has happened over the last 3 years and just kind of refresh this video and also talk about where I am now and where I think I'm headed with my fitness journey. And of course, I'm really sharing a lot about my journey and specifically how it pertains to my height, the struggles I've had with accepting my body, with losing fat as a shorter woman, with the fact that like a few extra pounds of variance on our shorter frames can feel like so much more weight and it can be so frustrating. So I'm gonna be talking about all of that. And then also, I feel like I'm like getting emotional right now and I've never cried on YouTube, I don't think. I don't get emotional easily, but there's some things that I wanna share with you that have happened over the past couple of years that have been really hard. And yeah, I'm gonna go over them today. And if you like this channel, please give it a like, subscribe for content tailored to petite women, and let's just get into part 2. Okay, just to give you like the spark notes on what was in the last video, like quick overview. And you can also check out this Instagram post where I go through like all the phases. But basically in the last video, I talked about how I was a gymnast and then I was a competitive fencer for 18 years, made an Olympic run. And then I retired and I went through an aesthetic phase where I wanted to even out my body composition because I had like really big thighs from fencing. Also the right one was bigger than the left, whatever. So I worked on that and I covered it in that video. And then where I left off after that video was, I had just wrote down some notes. I was working out 5 days a week. I had just finished that body recomp, lost some muscle in my right thigh, gained some in my left, just to like even things out. And then I was also tracking macros. Okay, so then in 2020, so that was 2019, I kind of maintained for a bit. I was eating a really high number of calories at the time. I was up at about 2,000, which is very high for a petite woman. And if you hear that, that's Sesame scratching his scratch pad, his little cactus scratch pad. Anyways, okay, so in 2020, I decided I wanted to do like a massive, like I wanted to go set off on a personal fitness journey and I wanted to document the whole thing. So you guys saw this in live time for all of 2020. I went really hard for 3 months, but then I maintained it for the rest of the year. So like this 3-month period, I blogged about it. I did multiple YouTube videos on it. You can go back and watch. And essentially what I did was I lost 10 pounds in about 3 months and totally transformed my body the most I've ever in my life. And I had done a couple recomps before that, as you guys know. And it was awesome. It was so fun. I learned so much about strength training. And I was already certified, but you're always learning, right? And also during that time, I obviously achieved that through strength training, learning way more about tempo and progression, progressive overload, things like I was already using, but I got even more dialed into how to target certain muscles, really honing into, I kind of took on like a more professional mindset in the gym rather than just going and like going through the motions. I was like really training like a bodybuilder, I would say. Was not trying to build like a bodybuilder, I was trying to lose fat and build muscle. So body recomp always, I highly recommend that for petite women. And I also got really into macros. I had already been tracking macros for like 6 years on and off, but in that 3-month period, I was very intentional about my eating. You can go back and watch some of those videos, but I was tracking, I was eating below 2,000 calories. So obviously I started from a high number of calories and then took it down a little bit. And I also increased my cardio during that time, but not by a lot. Because you guys know, I don't think that you should be using tons of cardio as your method to fat loss. As a petite woman, you're gonna get way better results from building muscle, naturally increasing your metabolism, and really honing into your nutrition, eating more protein. And then cardio is just like a supplementary thing you can do. It's not going to be able to drive the fat loss, but it can be like a supplementary thing to help allow you to still eat a lot of calories as a petite, but be losing fat. Around that time, it was COVID, so I didn't have a lot of distractions. I think that's why I was able to do it. I wasn't going out, I wasn't drinking that much at all. I think I had like 1 drink a week, like 1 or 2, one max, I think. and I ate out at a restaurant once a week. So we ordered in food, and part of it was right before the pandemic hit, and then part of it was after. So I was doing some barbell training in the beginning, and then when COVID hit, I was doing workouts with my dumbbells and some kettlebells. If you guys remember back in my old building before I lived in this loft, I was still in Williamsburg, Brooklyn, but I was training on my roof with my neighbor who's a doctor, a physical therapy doctor, and her boyfriend who's a personal trainer, and then my ex at the time who's a tennis coach. So we were all like working out together on the roof, pushing each other. I was following a body split program, and I saw great results for that. I really, really enjoyed it. I was able to really focus because there weren't a lot of distractions during COVID. But in 2021 now, I had maintained that for the whole year. I felt really good. As you guys know, so much happened in that time period for me. I ended a really long-term relationship, and I moved into a new building alone, the first time living alone in New York City. And I embarked on this new journey. And at the same time, everything was opening up in the city. It was like so social, getting invited to a bunch of things. People were drinking again, they're eating out a lot. And so there was like a lot going on in my life. And so I had to kind of reevaluate if I could maintain the lifestyle that I had been during COVID and this new social life I was having, also being newly single and all these things. Now, everybody's different and everybody approaches these things differently. I think it's really important to remember that when you achieve a goal in fitness, it doesn't end there, right? You still have to keep living, you still have to keep going, and things change, like conditions change. Like all the things that change for me, those are gonna happen to you too in your own way, right? So you have to continually be evaluating what your goals are with the lifestyle that you wanna live and how your lifestyle is changing. So in 2021, at this time, I was having a lot of fun that summer. I was going out more. I was like living on my own for the first time, and my lifestyle changed a lot. I had to get a new gym. It was just a lot of change. And through the breakup, even though, and I don't want to get into this a lot because it's been covered, it was I don't think you can call a breakup good, but it was a completely like adult breakup, nothing, no foul play, like it just wasn't right. Even though it wasn't, there was no trauma in the breakup itself, it's still hard to go through a breakup. During that time, I was under eating, which is very unlike me. I typically overeat when I'm stressed, but for some reason or another, during that breakup, I was under eating a lot. And so when I got back out on my own and COVID was over, and I was out and, playing in New York City, frolicking around, I was eating more, consuming more. And so I started to get back to my normal weight, which is typically 115 pounds is like my happy place. That's where I am right now. And I decided to do a mini cut for my first swim photo shoot in LA. So I went to LA for a few weeks. It was almost all of July that I was there. And originally I was going to LA to just get a break from the city and to also explore places to move, which I have to make a separate video about because I have updates on that. LA was the first place where I was like, maybe I'll go to LA. I am not going to LA, but that video and that vlog, if you go back, I was exploring that. And while I was there, I decided to do a mini cut and do a swim shoot. If you guys recall, that mini cut went absolutely horribly. It went very different than previous, like when I did my lost 10 pounds, very different because over the course of the years, my calories have dropped a little bit. Obviously, I'm not eating 2,000 calories a day anymore. I was starting that mini cut off from a place that was a lower amount of calories than I did when I lost 10 pounds. So instead of starting a mini cut from 2,000 calories a day, I was starting a mini cut from, I don't remember now, 1,500 to 1,700, which is less. And it gets harder and harder to do cuts when you're lower and lower in calories. That's why reverse dieting is really important for petite women, especially because we're already so low in calories. And so I went into this mini cut thinking, okay, I'm gonna stay true to myself. I'm going to make sure I don't do the thing that I tell all of you guys not to do. I'm gonna achieve this result. I'm gonna do it sustainably and healthily. But during that mini cut, it was not going that way. I was struggling with a lot of hunger. I was feeling like the more weight I lost, the worse I felt about my body. Like I would wake up and I weighed myself every morning during that month. I felt less worthy based on a number on the scale, which I had not struggled with in previous body recomps or cuts ever in my life. And I was noticing these like really negative thoughts. I didn't feel as good in my clothes, even though I was like 112 pounds and felt great. Like compared to now, I was like I had a lower body fat percentage, which has nothing to do with your fitness or your health, by the way. I mean, it has something to do with it, but low body fat does not necessarily equate with health, especially if you get too low as a woman. I've never lost my period before or suffered from that, but during this time, I was like really, my mental health was suffering. So if you guys remember, I made a vlog and I decided I'm quitting the cut. I quit the cut in the last 2 weeks before my shoot. And I decided if I'm gonna feel good in this shoot, it's gonna be a decision and only I can decide if I feel amazing that day. A number on the scale can't, macros and numbers can't. I'm just going into the swim shoot and I'm gonna feel amazing as I am. And that mentality was awesome. I had the swim shoot. The photos were awesome. Like when I look at them now, I'm like, damn, I don't think I'd look like that right now for a shoot. Obviously I could get in that shape. I'm 115 now. I was 114 for the shoot. So the weight's not really the difference. It was more just eating more consistently every day rather than right now I'll like eat out a few times a week. We'll get to now later. So the photo shoot went awesome. And I really proved to myself that you don't need to like lose for a shoot. You don't need to be different really. You don't have to restrict. And I'm so glad I quit that mini cut. And I learned again, I hadn't done a horrible, I wouldn't call that an extreme diet, but I hadn't done a diet like that since like way before my education, like in my teenage years. So it was a good reminder, oh yeah, April, like this is the unhealthy side of the fitness industry. You don't need to do that. You don't want to do that for your body. Plus, you don't even feel good about what you've achieved once you get there because you're hungry all the time and like tired. And so that mini cut was a great lesson in 2021. And I learned like, no, this is not what you're about. Refocus. You know what works, you know what feels good, get back to your health. And so I got back from LA and got back on track after that. Okay, here's where I feel like I'm going to get emotional. In college, that was the first time I experienced binge eating, I'm pretty sure. And I talked about this in my journey part 1. I binge ate in college. I would like restrict all day. I'd like do juice cleanses and then I would have like entire boxes of cereal or like tons of a loaf of bread or like just eat till I was sick. Undiagnosed, I never like saw a doctor for it because it wasn't to the point of needing medical intervention, but I knew it was unhealthy for me. So I have experienced like bouts of binge eating in college, but I pretty much was okay for the last 10 years or so. And then in 2021, I did have some, I wouldn't even call it relapses, but I really struggled with, after that mini cut, I struggled with my appetite and with like smaller binge eating episodes. So just like probably consuming nowhere near what would be like considered an actual binge medically, I don't think, but a little under 1,000 calories or something when I like, or just overeating. I found myself overeating a lot. And this was right after that cut, which is obviously related. If you do a cut, your hunger hormones get messed up and your body literally wants to feed itself. So now you have these hunger signals telling you to eat, you're hungry, even if you're not, even if you don't need the food. And so I was battling that last summer, the end of the summer through the fall. And I shared a little bit on social media. I shared with you guys this amazing book. If any of you struggle with binge eating, it's called Brain Over Binge. And it's just a fantastic book. I've read so many books on this over the course of my life just for education, getting certifications and whatnot. I'm also a certified nutritionist. And this was just probably my favorite, probably the best I've ever read. And it really helped me kind of regather my sense of control and not feel so helpless to food. Like it was a really tough time because I was using food as like a numbing. Like if you put food in your mouth, you are obviously busy now, you're doing something. So like it was really easy for me to like sit in front of the TV and do that and want to just kind of forget that I'm eating. And I recognized this behavior right away. It was very obvious to me what was happening, but it's not so easy to stop it. If you've ever struggled with this, it can be hard. It can become a habit and now you have to break the habit. So it was a really challenging time. And I did share it, but I didn't make a YouTube video on it. I didn't go into depth because I wanted to make sure that I had processed it myself, and I did. I feel good. I think it's always gonna be a part of me, to be honest. Even like going back to childhood, this is something that I think, you know, food is tough because it's not like you can quit food. You're confronted with food for all of your meals every day. So if you have a tough relationship with food, you're confronted by it repeatedly, every day in, day out, morning, afternoon, evening. You can't avoid it. And that is why I think it's so important that we build a healthy relationship with food, that we make that a priority, because it's like your relationship with yourself. You're constantly going to be, you know, confronted with choices. So that was like 2021, a lot obviously happening. I'm in a much better place now, and now moving into 2022, I think one of the reasons I wanted to update this video, besides the fact that some of you guys have been asking for it, and there's been years that have passed and more that's happened, is that I'm turning 30 in a few days. And so my 20s will be a thing of the past. I know I look like I'm like literally a teenager and could be in high school with a backpack, but I'm actually turning 30. And I'm like reflecting on all of the chapters in my life with health and fitness, you know, being a pro athlete, to doing body recomps, to doing cuts and losing 10 pounds. And then, you know, it's just meant to be fun. It's meant to be a journey, and it never ends. Like, you're always going to be engaged in your lifestyle in some way, making choices, and that's okay. Things are gonna change. Some eras of your life, you're gonna wanna be more social or eat out more. In some eras of your life, you might be really focused on a goal that you've set for yourself, you know, to do 10 pull-ups unassisted, or like, that would be a lot to do, you know, do a few pull-ups unassisted, or to like, you know, lose body fat, or build a better relationship with food. Like, you're gonna go through seasons and chapters. And so now that I'm in 2022, we're all in 2022, where I'm at now, my relationship with fitness is in a really interesting place. Looking over the last 30 years, and if you guys have seen, like, I was active since I was a baby. I've always been really, really energetic and active, but I'm in this place now where I just feel like, since it's always gonna change, since we're always gonna be working on our relationship with our body and our health and exercise and trying to just maintain a level of health, and for our mental health too, what actually matters at the end of the day, and I've always said this, but it really feels like this right now, is ultimately your health, enjoying your lifestyle, your energy levels, how well you sleep, how good you feel in your clothes, your relationship with food, I don't know if I said mental health, just taking care of yourself. And all of this, I find you can engage with so much more when you have community. And I found over the last few years, even just like building Smalletics, which our name is changing next week, keep in mind, that community and just building this platform has helped me stay engaged with my own health journey. It's helped me keep going and learn new things and focus on what's really important. And I think I'm in this chapter now where, like, I don't really care about my weight. I don't really care about like stuff like that anymore. Like, I don't really care. Does that sound bad? What I care about is my health. I want to just feel good. I want to feel great in my body and like really love my body and accept, you know, my bad angles. And I think it's been more pronounced being that I've been in front of the camera now for for 5 years. And so I've like had to confront like, oh, I look like that in that angle. Like, being a creator or a business owner, I guess a content creator in this case, like, you see so many sides of yourself that you like never knew existed. And for the most part, it hasn't been a huge challenge for me, but there are definitely days, right? Like, you'll hear any YouTuber talk about this where it's like, you don't feel good in your body. I overwhelmingly have always had more better days than not, but this channel is about feeling powerful in your body as a petite, and I want to live that. Like, I really live that as a true core value. And I do feel powerful in my body now, and I don't feel like it's attached to numbers or body fat percentages. And I just enjoy sharing my journey with my community, with you. I enjoy working out with my friends, going on walks. I enjoy doing these Zoom calls and whatnot with our community, with our people. I love just health and fitness and doing it together. Like, the togetherness of this community is honestly what matters at the end of the day, because we're all in different places, we might all have different goals, but we are all engaged in it together and working on it together. And I think that's what is so cool about like looking at the span of time. And I'm in a place now where I'm like, yeah, I'm going to keep working out. I've been working out from home way more. Like all of March, I didn't lift a single barbell except today. Today I lifted a barbell for the first time in a month. And I've just been like doing what feels good. I've been working out sometimes just 30 minutes a day. I go on long walks with my friends. I mostly just have been trying to eat food that makes me feel good, cook a little bit more, and I'm eating out more. So I think it's just now I'm in this place where I just don't care as much as I used to. I'm also really focused on building this community and helping and serving you guys to build your most powerful bodies and your most powerful versions of yourself. And so I'm sitting at a desk more. I'm doing a lot more computer work than I ever have. And so in a lot of ways, I feel like I relate to you guys more on that level. Obviously, I still create content, but yeah. So where I am now is like really moving into this chapter of, I think, just more balance and integration and less pressure, and feeling like what I know and the value I can bring to you guys in this community, it's really not attached to a look or a shape or a size. And we've always known that, right? Because this channel is all about loving your petite frame and your body, and being really proud of it, and having like a big, powerful energy, even if you're small and people literally overlook you. So that's where I am today. And next week, I think everything that we're releasing our whole new brand look and feel, company relaunch, new name, new product and services. I think it really represents where I am now, even though we built it a year ago and we've been like working on it the last year, and I arrived at this point now. I feel like it's all about the community. It's all about working out and feeling amazing in your body and powerful and strong. And like, yes, you can have a goal to want to lose fat. That's absolutely fine. I help women do that every day. But it's also okay to just like want to improve your relationship with food and your quality of life and all these things that come with fat loss or might come with just a different goal. So I'm really excited to share our whole new company, everything, next Monday, April 4th. If you're excited, give this video a like, tell your friends that are petite or whoever, and subscribe to this channel because there's going to be a huge reveal that day. If you're already in our community, check your email. You're going to get some goodies and excitement. And I hope you guys enjoyed this updated part 2 of my journey. And if you have any questions or you want to share or express or talk about anything, let me know in the comments. And I will see you guys next week, where this channel will actually have a new name, which I should probably share with you now so that you know what to search for. But I'm not going to. Sorry guys, I'm gonna share with you soon, but just so you know, this channel will not be called Smalletics anymore, so you'll have to search a different name, and I will let you know ahead of time, and you will see it next Monday as well. Okay, bye.